and welcome back to my channel. Today was going to be a day in the life, but I am getting started just a little bit late today. So what I thought I would do is take you through part of our day, and I also wanted to talk a little bit about speech delay. As you know from my previous videos, Jake was diagnosed with speech delay. I don't know if any of you have a child with that diagnosis. Apparently it's not that uncommon. It can be related to autism. Sometimes something else is going on in the brain, or it could just be that our children develop differently and some develop faster in that area than others. Jake was diagnosed with a phonological disorder, and that means that he hears everything that's coming in, but he can't articulate it properly. So the way our therapist explained it, she said, imagine a child trying to say the word fish. A child that's developing normally in the area of speech, they might say fis or ish or something like that. But a child with a phonological disorder may say something like bib or biff. So they know what that means. It means fish to them, but you're not going to understand that. So basically their brain is hearing everything, but when it tries to make the sounds, it just kind of puts in different sounds in place of the actual sounds. I don't know if you can understand that. I'm probably not explaining it that well, but that's what I gathered from what she said in the research that I did. She also said that it's a good prognosis, that a lot of kids just grow out of it, but some kids do need therapy for quite a long time because their brain has to be taught new sound pathways. So right now, his therapy consists of lots of playtime. She'll come over and she'll play with his toys with him, but she will repeat words, repeat sounds. And if she could get him to say a couple of words, it's a good day. Once he gets a little bit older and his attention span gets longer, then they will start introducing more drills. So just repeating sounds and words over and over again so that the brain then recognizes that when he's saying those words, that's the sound that's going to come out. If I explained it well, I'm not really sure. Anyway, it's kind of convoluted. I am not a speech pathologist, but that's basically what we're working with. One thing I want to make clear is that not all children who have delayed speech will get a diagnosis of speech delay. Like I said, kids develop differently. They develop at their own pace, and there is nothing wrong with that. If you do suspect that there's an issue there, then talk to your pediatrician about it. Our pediatrician picked up early on that there was something going on with Jake. So by about 18 months old, she suggested that we start speech therapy. And that's what we did, and it has been wonderful for us. So today I thought I would share just some of the things that have helped me to be able to deal better with the diagnosis. The first thing that I really needed to develop was patience. Not patience with him, it's not his fault, but patience with myself. As a mom, we want to fulfill all of our child's needs right away. And with a child that can't communicate well, it's very difficult to do that sometimes. And so what I noticed was happening is that I would get anxious because I couldn't figure out what he was asking for, and that would just escalate the situation. So I really had to start taking a step back and just remembering that this is something that we're working on, that we're going to get through this, and that I'm going to be able to help Jake figure out what he needs. So it may take a little more time, but typically I can figure out what it is he's asking for. So that was definitely number one. The second thing that kind of goes on hand in hand with that is the mom guilt. And I think we all carry a measure of mom guilt no matter what. It's just part of being a mom. And I think when something is going on with your child, whatever it is, you feel like it's your fault, and it's not your fault. But, I remember going to the park and seeing kids that were around his age that were speaking in full sentences. And I would think, what am I doing wrong? Am I not reading to him enough? Am I not talking to him enough? Am I not giving him enough attention? And none of that was true. I am doing everything that I can do, just like you are. So it is time to let go of the mom guilt, get some more patience with ourselves so that we can be calm and help our children, and just move on. Something practical that was helpful was teaching him sign language. Our first therapist that he had when he started at 1.5 years taught him sign language. And that was the best thing that she could have ever done, because she taught him how to sign basic needs, basic wants, basic actions. And so it just made things so much easier for us. And even now, he still uses those signs, even though he can say certain words, but he'll use it with the sign. I think just to make sure that we really understand that he wants a snack. The signs were extremely helpful, and they were very easy to teach him. I was a little nervous about it, but before we would even leave the office, a lot of times he was already using the signs. And what I really appreciated is that she said, don't worry if the signs are perfect. Let him, show him the signs, and then let him decide how he's going to sign it. And then that's the sign for whatever object or action, and he's comfortable using that sign, and then he'll want to use it. So that was extremely helpful. I would highly suggest looking into teaching your children sign language, even if they don't have speech delay, but they're young and you want to teach them basic things so you can communicate at an early age. It's just a really great skill for them to learn. And it's pretty simple. They pick it up pretty quick. Something else that was very helpful was finding a support group, or just finding a friend who was also going through the same thing. A lot of times our friends and family, they want to be reassuring, so they'll just tell us, it'll be fine, they'll be fine. And that's true. Eventually they will be. But at the time, that doesn't feel very helpful. So I have a very good friend. Her son is about the same age as Jake. They're both in speech therapy. And it's really nice to just be able to vent our worries, our frustrations, our fears with one another, and to be able to really reassure one another and just be there for each other. So having that support group, even if it's one person that can just relate to what you're going through and completely understand the process, is a really wonderful thing. So I highly recommend that. One more thing I wanted to mention is that speech therapy can be very, very expensive. When we first put him in speech therapy, we were paying out of pocket because, surprise, most insurance companies don't cover speech therapy. So when we switched therapists, they suggested that we look into the state-run program. And they set everything up for us. It was a very easy process to get him enrolled. The only requirement is that they need it. Now we have a therapist who comes to the house once a week. I love that she comes here because she's in Jake's environment. And once he ages out of the private speech therapy, then if he qualifies, he will continue on in a preschool where the teachers are qualified to teach VPK. They are also therapists, so he'll learn the curriculum. He will become acclimated to being in a classroom setting, and he will get the therapy that he still needs, which I'm very excited for. I think it's wonderful, and the state covers all of it. So that's something to definitely look into if you are thinking about speech therapy, or if your pediatrician has recommended speech therapy. Ask them about the program, or ask the therapy office when you call to make an appointment for your child. They can put you in the right direction. Overall, I think it's important to remember that lots of children deal with speech delay. Lots of children overcome their speech delay and learn how to talk. But as parents, it can be something that's very scary. We want our kids to have the best life possible. We don't want to see them struggle, but sometimes things happen. So don't get overly stressed about it. Remember, you're doing the best that you can, and that you are definitely not alone. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about today, please feel free to reach out.
Like a fire in a cheetah, like a star about to fall, a fever rush inside me when I see her. I'm a dice to roll, and I can feel my heart skip a beat or two. I don't know how to breathe, I don't know how to breathe, and I can feel within I am black and blue. Can't explain what she
What's so funny? What is that? What is that? Is it a fireplace? Can you say fireplace? What's that?
like a beat getting stronger.
No, you can leave that alone.
Like a song on the radio.
Are you tired?
On the patio.
Are you gonna go to sleep?
Find a dream to see. It's the way she makes me feel. When I see the way she's moving, I can feel it to my bones. Like a shiver, oh, the image of our fusion. In a moment we stole. In a moment we stole. And I said, and I said, like a beat getting stronger. Feel the air around her. Dance like a falling leaf. Like a song.